Hello, thank you very much for watching us again, like for this special noodle class. We are doing again from Yamato headquarters in Kagawa, Japan. And this is gonna be like 31st of this special noodle class online. It's free. And my name is Akira, and I'm gonna be a host for this class. And this is Megumi. So she's making customized mazemen noodles today. And so, we decided to do this class because, like we did class on mazemen like before, but like, we wanted to like touch on this, well, kind of noodle dish again because of, what's going on around the world, where a lot of restaurants are like hit by COVID-19 and like, their operations are limited to takeout and, delivery and like sometimes like retailing of like meal kits. So, mazemen is great for this type of operation. So, we want to do this again, this class today. So let's get started. And but before we get started on this class, let me allow a few minutes to talk about what we do at Yamato. So basically, like we are manufacturer of noodle making machines. We design to serve restaurants and small factories. And so we've been in this business like for like 45 years. And so like we've been exporting our machines overseas. And but like we are also doing schools, like offering like training courses on udon, ramen, and soba noodle cuisines. And so like we teach everything, like from production of noodles, soups, toppings, from scratch, and even like operation and like management of like noodle restaurant businesses. And so we get a lot of people like who want to start up their own noodle restaurants, ramen shops, everything. So noodle businesses. So yeah, so we've been running this school business like for it's like 20 years. And we have a lot of customers using our machines in over 60 countries. And we have 8 offices in Japan, including one in Tokyo, another in Osaka, in big cities. We have an office in Seoul, Korea, Singapore, Netherlands, and United States. And we have partners in different countries. So we're basically a group of noodle making experts who help our customers succeed in their businesses by providing, of course, like equipment, training, recipes for like whatever they need to succeed in their businesses. All right, so let's get started in this class. So we're talking about customization mazemen, like customized mazemen, right? So I'm going to talk about like in this lecture, I'm going to talk about like three things. So what's mazemen, right? Noodles, soup, sauce, like toppings, and how should we design, right, the customization offerings, and mazemen customization ideas, right? And then maybe we're gonna make noodles, and then she's gonna show us like a few sample mazemen noodles that she made in advance. And after that, like we're gonna move to our kitchen where our instructor is waiting for us to show us like kind of a few examples of mazemen dishes, like how you know, well, we should set it up basically at our store. And we're gonna finish this class up like doing the Q&A sessions. So if for those of you like who have any questions during the class, please send them in the comments. We'd appreciate it. Right. So let's get started on this mazemen. So again, like we did a previous class of mazemen, and mazemen is actually the most advanced form of ramen dishes. Well, we have this illustration on website, on our blog, um, and so it's like ramen evolution, right? So ramen dish evolved from a soup noodle dish to tsukemen or dipping noodle dish to mazemen or soupless noodle dish. So simply put, ramen is having less and less soup as it evolved. In other words, we could say that ramen is getting easier to eat because there's less soup. So this ease of eating makes these types of noodle dishes like great candidates for takeout and delivery. And the fact that noodles carry less soup means that that means like better portability. Well, because like if you want to like use that as a takeout, like if you have like hot soup noodle dish, right, in a bowl, like plastic bowl or delivery takeout, like you run a risk of like kind of spilling the hot soup like on the way to the customer's home. So, but like mazemen, it doesn't have soup in it. Um, Obviously have like sauce, right? So it makes a great candidate for delivery and takeout. So because of this high portability, it's easy to customize the bowl. Kind of think about like for those of you like who know what Chipotle is, like Chipotle or the Subway, where you're presented with a lot of options for carbohydrates, protein, fat, and fibers. The components are clearly separated into these categories, and we can provide options for those with special diet needs and those without. As our diets have become more diverse, right, we should change our offerings to cater to the needs, and which I'm going to talk about in a minute. So we're discussing the customized mazemen today, and there are three basic things. Like so, what's mazemen, right? And then what kind of noodles should we think about for mazemen and sauce, soup, and toppings, right? And so what is mazemen? Again, like we talked about it a bit. Like it's a type of mazemen, like ramen dish. It's a ramen dish, right? But that's most advanced with the little soup added to the noodles. Noodles are coated with the soup or sauce as we start on noodles, and then toppings and garnish stuck on the noodles help flavor and give um, contrasting taste. Making the whole dish like taste kind of unique and complex. So each component, noodles, carbohydrates, sauce, toppings, protein, fiber. Sauce is probably like kind of fat, right? But like garlic kind of plays kind of important roles in structuring the taste and flavors of the dish. Because as we mix up like everything, right, when tasting it, so how the mixture of like everything, how the mixture of everything that taste matters. The unique balance in taste and flavor which are carried on the noodles, right? So, well, as you can see, like, well, in these pictures, like, there are many types of mazemens. Like, because mazemen means, well, just mixed, right? Mixed noodles. So, well, there are many different types. Like, we talked about these different types of mazemen dishes. In the previous class we did in mazemen. So if you're interested in learning more about kind of basics of mazemen, please check out our YouTube channel where you can watch the recording of the class, and along with like other recordings of like previous classes we did like on different subjects. Okay, um, so how should we design like our customization offerings, right? And so we have, we can think about mazemen like in these components, in terms of components. So like there's noodles, sauce, right, and like oil, flavored oil, and toppings, and garnish, sometimes garnish, right? Well, you could say like toppings too, but like so this picture is a bowl of like vegan, actually vegan version, vegan ramen, mazemen that we did before. Um, this is like how it's served, right? So like kind of noodles like kind of buried underneath the toppings, and then all the sauces are already added to it, and it's like you just stir it, right? Stir it like everything well, and eat it, right? So just stir it and eat it, and so like you can see that like the noodles are actually um, had the actually like kind of tomato juice like kind of needed in them. And well, it's got a lot of kind of um, garnish on the toppings that are like kind of all consist like nuts, and has like some cilantro that like gives like kind of this unique flavor to it. And so that the nuts, like kind of fresh nuts, kind of give like kind of unique texture as well. So it's like kind of eating the noodles, kind of will provide the give like kind of the balanced taste of like everything, like sauce, like garnish and toppings, flavors, and then like texture. So that's what mazemen is. So the noodles, right? Noodles. Um, what kind of noodle should we use, right? What kind of noodles should we use? Um, so the noodle texture is like, we have to say that like it's not life of mazemen. Like as I talked about a little bit in that picture, the noodles are covered and drenched in sauce, right? And toppings and um, other things like garnish are like eaten as a whole. So it's balanced. The balance like will integrated like taste and flavors of the noodles, sauce and toppings, and you have to stir them well too. But like noodles, right? Usually firm and plain and relatively thick, firm and chewy. And again, like we've been using this chart like for many classes. But I'm not gonna get into like kind of detail this chart. Like you can just watch the previous class to study this chart. Um, but it's just the mazemen. So like there's a circle like mazemen, and well, it's a long circle like kind of that cover like kind of different areas of like in this chart, and then that means that like there are many variations like mazemen noodles, and maybe like it's as thin as maybe like 1.3 millimeter, and as thick as probably like 2.5 millimeter, right? And so the basic rule is that like when you have like thin noodle, you want to make it hard. The texture should be hard. It's just because of the for kind of good noodle texture. So the like noodle when the noodle is thin, like the noodle texture should be hard, firm. And when the noodles is like thick, the noodle texture is like kind of softer side. So to make it softer, you should use the flour with a low protein content, and to make it hard, and then also like increase the amount of water you adding to the flour to make dough to make it soft. When you want to like make it hard, you do the opposite. So just use the flour with high protein and reduce the amount of water. It's like we call it like low hydration ratio noodles. Okay, so that's the kind of like noodles that we should use. And but serving size, right? Serving size maybe well around like 130 grams to 20 grams. This is the well fresh noodle weight before you cook them. And when you cook them, right, the noodles absorb the cooking water, so that the serving size expands to 220 to 240 grams in this case. So it's a lot of noodles, and but like basically like in mazemen, you're basically like eating noodles, and the noodles carry all these like flavors, textures from other components like garnish like toppings and the sauce. So you're basically eating noodles. So they're having great noodle texture is critical when serving a good boiled mazemen. So the mazemen sauce soup, typically like typical one is a like soy sauce base with like some oil and like some vinegar as well. And yeah, you can see in this picture like some of the the tare like sauces and the oils like vinegar and the other things like we use as parts um, to make well like sauce and the soup, ramen soup. The mazemen sauce well is of course like we make them this way, and well it's kind of a typical setup like we may have like at our school, like noodle ramen school, like udon school, and so we teach this our school, right? Like we teach like how to make each of these parts from scratch, and if you are interested in this learning about these things, you can well check out our website for more details. And we actually have a book. Like we use as a textbook. So you can check out the book as well, like for the soup, ramen soup book on our website too. And so this is the so like mazemen or sauce kind of composition. So this is a kind of a typical one. And then so it's a soy sauce based sauce like tare. It's like a mixture of like different soy sauce based sauces. We call it tare, and then it's a and then vinegar, right? And then we sometimes use like kind of fish sauce, and we add, for example, like like in this case, like fish powder and other things, and flavored oils. Flavored oils, like in this sample I have right here, like pork back fat with garlic, scallop oil, and garlic oil, and dry sodium oil. So this, for example, like this sauce, um, the vinegar and like fish sauce, like and then the soy sauce sauces, it's about like 20 grams, 20, 20, yeah, 20, 25 grams, and the whole serving size maybe like 30 grams to like 50 grams. So like you see like the ratios of like each of these ingredients that are going to the sauce, right? So that's the sauce. So like you have vinegar like we keep like kind of sourness to it too, and then the soy sauce kind of sauce, and the flavor the oil like with the different flavors, different smells, aromas. So it's you know gives like an interesting and unique taste. And toppings, yeah, and of course like toppings are very important too, like mazemen. It's very important, one of the most like components, right? So toppings, the typical one that we see, right, is a stir-fried ground meat, and that's seasoned, and we have like some chopped scallions and some egg, right, and then some crushed nuts. And but of course, like we can have like variety of toppings and garnishes for our mazemen dishes. And what we want to emphasize here is that like to provide toppings that give like nutrition, right? And especially protein and fiber in the toppings. Because like carbohydrates are provided in the noodles and the fat is provided in the sauce. So if you can offer toppings that are rich in protein and fiber, then we can serve a mazemen dish that's well balanced in protein, carbohydrates, fat, and fiber. Right. So these are the three components of mazemen, and it's like we should think about these in detail, like in each of them, and you know um, we should design according to well what our customers want, right? And so that's what I'm going to talk about now. So designing customization offerings, and again like noodles, right? Soup, I mean the sauce, oil, and toppings, garlic garnish. And so how should we design our customization offerings? So I think there are many ways to like kind of think about how we design offerings, but of course like we have to think about like our customers, right? Like who our customers are, and then what they want, and well, living in a world where like more and more people are seeking more options, right, or diverse in diets. Yeah, we should be prepared to accommodate changing demands of these consumers. So they're on these diet because like their religious beliefs, allergies, like preferences, and then probably their attitudes and perspectives towards like certain things like global warming. And we've been learning about these special diets. Yamato is learning now, and trying to incorporate them into like our menu development training and even like our school curriculum. So, we're gonna share like just like a bit of like what we learned with you guys in this class. And like we think it like very important for us, like just for study this to understand our customers better, so we'll be able to like serve them better. And so I'm gonna just share with you guys just a list of special diets, what's out there and what's okay and what's not. So you have this list, right? And it's little goes like um, on the left hand side you have like all these the role, right? Different roles have special diets because of religious beliefs. And for example, like Muslim people, halal, it's a kind of famous one. Um, and then the columns have what's okay or not, like pork, beef, like chicken, seafood without scale, like alcohol, pungent roots, milk products, eggs. Um, so you see like at the glance you can see like for halal maybe like what's okay, what's not. Kosher foods like for Jewish people like what's okay, what's not. Vegan, right? And as you can notice, like vegan, right? I mean, almost everything is not okay, right? And kind of interesting one is like rental vegetarian. So this is like kind of typical. I mean, well, this is well something like maybe probably should because I didn't know about this before, and but like this is like kind of particularly talking about like kind of people like who believe in Buddhism and pungent roots, right? Like they are not okay with the pungent roots. And what it is that like they call it like five forbidden pungent roots, which are like radish, leek, onions, garlic, and a few other herbs. So you have like if you have like kind of like population customers like for who belong to this kind of diet group, then you should yeah have some options, right? That like that not that don't use these ingredients. And so it's yeah it's like it's very important to understand like um, what these diets allow and don't allow, right? And then I guess like it's great if we know the reasons behind them and why they don't eat these and stuff. So it's a so if you know like can prepare each component, right, based on these knowledges, we can accommodate consumers with like all of these special diets. It is actually easy for us to like serve mazemen dishes that clear all these restrictions, like customization system, right? We can let our customers to actually pick the noodle component, sauce component, topping component, and garnish component that match their diet. And if you have like dishes that clear all these points, which I think is probably vegan diet, right? And everyone can pick that option, and we can develop like vegan mazemen dishes that are taste great and packed with good nutrition and even better like in comparison like other meat alternatives. We can appeal to everybody, right? We can appeal to everybody. So it's something like we should think about. And then another way, like we should kind of think about like kind of customization offering is that like is that well of course like who our customers like what kind of people they are, right? And well household size like kind of family demographics like people like in the house like ages, how many kids they have, right? And what ages they are. And of course, like we can do some research on the local markets to check the demographic data, but we can also simply like imagine like who our customers would be first, and it's like creating like imaginary persona. Like we assume like for example like 50% of the customers like we serve are families that size of average of 5 people. We should have a package that's great for 5 people in the serving size, and for example, like they're in their 30s with kids that are under 5, that we can imagine like what they need, right? So we just need to like prepare options that for this imaginary customer at the beginning. And as we start, right? And then as we start, like start serving, we can gradually modify our offerings to accommodate the real customers. So making options that accommodate like different demographics may be like probably easier compared to like making the options for like special dietary conditions. You can have like many options that customers can choose for their family size and eating volumes. For example, we can offer like vegan mazemen package for like family of five, to side menus such as like meaty gyoza like for 3 kids who love meat. Like for the dad, right, we can offer him like option for larger serving of noodles, for example. So designing the customization offerings starts with like imagining who our customers are and like what they eat and don't eat, what's convenient for them, and then what they value. So as long as we have like good understandings of them, we all we have to do is just preparations and options that we can offer. Especially in Muslim and dishes that allows us to develop the offerings that match and accommodate their values. Right. So these are like some of the like customization ideas for mazemen dishes. And again, like what's great about like offering mazemen is that it's very easy to customize it. The noodles can be different in sizes, textures, ingredients, flavors, etc. You can even serve different noodles than like ramen. It can be soba noodle, buckwheat noodles. It can be like udon, like even like pasta noodles, and like even like some Chinese style noodles, right? If your customers, that's what your customers prefer. And you can of course have like the gluten-free options too. And the sauces, there's different types like tarry oils, spices like Asian, Indian, stocks made from like animal, seafood types or ingredients, like refreshing sauces made from citrus and other ingredients, vinegar, chili oils as additional sauces, and topping protein, meat, seafood, beans, cheese, etc. Right, and which can be pre-seasoned, cooked vegetables like leafy, onions like garlic, etc. Right, and then even fruits, right, oranges, kiwis, apples, tomatoes, and cilantro like basil, like mint, garlic and ginger. There's an option like customers can order portion of steamed rice, right, which can be very versatile, like like even like quinoa. Customers add it to the main sauce like after the noodles are gone to finish the dish, right? Um, well, it's like kind of practiced and it's done in Japan. Like people like to do that. It's carbohydrates, but Japanese like it. Um, so Mazame gives like customers a lot more freedom than other types of ramen dishes by offering many options to change the taste and the flavors. All right. That's that's pretty much what I had for the lecture, and so it's time for us to start making some noodles. All right. So we have over here we have our noodle machine. That's called like one, Witchman one machine, and it's well as the name suggests, it's rich, right? And then men means for noodles, right? I mean, well, rich noodles kind of. Well, you probably get it, right? And it's an all-in-one noodle machine. That means that well, you can make your craft noodles like from scratch just with this machine. It has a mixer to make dough and a rolling unit to sheet the dough out, and it also has like um, cutter, right? And then like kind of portioning cutter, which means that this machine can portion the noodles like automatically. And so let's start the noodle making. And so we have over here like some ingredients that go into the mixer, right? So let me explain, right? So this is flour, This is a typical flour that we use for ramen noodles. We talked about a bit about like kind of protein content. The higher the protein, the harder the noodle texture. The typical like ramen flour has protein content of like around 11%, and this is another ingredient like for solid ingredients. This is a whole wheat powder, right? It's gonna give you like a like good flavor of like the whole wheat, and this is a liquid ingredients, so water, right? And then the salt and kansi. Salt will give the noodle a bit of like taste of the salt, right? And then kansi is something like you have to have in ramen noodles. And but like kansi is basically well, there are many types of kansi, but like the type that we use is basically a um, mixture of like potassium carbonate and sodium carbonate. And well, we have actually an article on our blog, so you can just read about kansi and all these ingredients in more detail. All right, so let's get started. The noodle making. So we are making noodles for mazemen today, and so as we talked about, like mazemen noodles tend to be thicker, right? Tend to be thicker, noodle size, and so when we are making thick noodles, the noodle texture should be softer or a better texture. And so what we want to do first is that like we want to like put all the solid ingredients in the mixer first, and let the mixer run for about a minute. And for she dissolving the kansi and salt into the water. So she's kind of like making this solution like water like liquid that's going to be added to the flour in the mixer. So just make sure kansi and salt are thoroughly dissolved in the water. Okay. So first, like we're gonna do like 4 minutes mixing, and so she added the liquid right onto the lid, and it has a small holes in the lid, right, and then the liquid is like gonna drip through the holes. So the liquid is added to the flour little by little. We want to add liquid a little by little to the flour to kind of render the hydration, like good hydration and dough. So if you add like a lot of water, like liquid, like all at once into the flour, there's gonna be like there'll be like well chunk of flour that's like just wet, right? Um, then that's not good. That's not good for like hydration. So and the main course like mixing is well, of course, for good hydration, and that's very important to develop like the very good gluten structure inside dough. And so we can't just keep watching the mixer, right? It's kind of boring. So we she prepared like made me prepare the dough in advance, and so we can start the next process we call rough foaming. So she's just feeding the dough right into the rollers. So there's a set of rollers in this machine. The rollers are pretty big actually, like for I mean compared to like other types of noodle machines like a pasta machine. Um, there's a reason for it, and the rollers are big because we are dealing with noodles that are like low in hydration, right? So low in hydration means So these noodles are pretty hard. They're pretty hard, and so there's gonna be like great kind of resistant resistance, right? Like when you sheet them, right? Sheet them when you roll them, the rollers would get a lot of like kind of pushback, right? Like from the dough, so that's gonna break the roller bearings and everything. So you have that's why you have to have like a bigger rollers for a ramen machine. Anyway, like so she's making sheet of dough that's like kind of still like kind of fragile, but like she's so out of that kind of crumbles like a dough. She's making it into like kind of shape of sheet, dough sheet. And we want to go slow in this process because we want to apply pressure, right? Pressure, great pressure, like onto the dough, and gradually, right? So like we want to go slow on purpose. So you can see, like on the surface of the dough, like you may be able to notice some of the spots, right? That are from whole wheat grains, and that's kind of like what's been kind of trending in Japan too, to have like a bit of like whole grain powder dough, right? To make like a bit healthier than like just making dough like with just wheat flour that's low in ash content. Um, one of the well, one of the values that like we should care about like when trying to find a good flour for ramen noodles or like mazemen noodles is that protein we talked about, right? And ash content is something that that you can find like an actual product label. And ash is basically like how much minerals is contained in the flour. And this ash content that kind of shows up like when we actually make noodles like from the flour, and then or the higher ash content, the actually the darker the color, the noodles, and then but like the stronger the flavor, the wheat, and yes, but like a lot of flours in Japan um, use the milling technologies that we use in Japan. Like we try to get rid of as much ash as possible, like in the milling process, um, just because we want to make it white, make everything white. Um, but just the color, right? Just the color. But like to get the color white, we are losing the good nutrition from the ash content. Um, but anyway, so what she's doing now is like is that dough is like still kind of weak, fragile. So we want to make it firm, right? And to make it firm, we want to separate it, kind of divide the dough sheet into two separate sheets, and we want to combine them into one sheet again through sheeting the rollers. And so we call this like kind of combining process. And so that's how we kind of make the dough firm and kind of develop the gluten structure inside dough. So the dough like that's coming out of the machine now is actually the surface. It's kind of hard to notice like from probably from a camera, but like it's smoother, definitely smoother than before. And so it's texture-wise, like it's harder, like firmer and stronger. Can you notice how quiet this machine is? It's uh, it's making almost no noise at all. Like it's very quiet, and so yeah, that's why a lot of our customers actually use this machine inside the restaurants. It's not going to be a big distraction um, to for customers, dining in. So now she's doing another round of like combining process. For certain, for some types of noodles, and well, you could do like just one combining process. So we usually do like kind of one or two twice this combining process, one or twice, once or twice. Um, like for certain types of noodles, like we just did once. But for this type of noodle, like we probably should do it twice. So again, like separating, dividing into two sheets and compounding them to one. And so from this point on, right, combining process kind of, will be combine two separate sheets into one, right? So we wanted to, so like kind of stick them together, but from this point on, we don't want the sheets of noodle to stick together. So dusting. We started dusting it, right, from this device we call like automatic duster, and so you kind of automatically kind of sprinkles the um, dusting powder, right, and then you can actually adjust the volume of dusting. Of course, like for wetter dough, for higher hydration dough, right, you need to dust more, and for drier noodles, you need to dust less. Okay, so you can control the dusting volume pretty easily. And so after the second combined process, like so this dough is um, done. Um, done. Well, that means that like the udon structure inside dough is thoroughly developed. So all we have to do is just from this point on just thin it to the final thickness. But we can't thin it like drastically, and that would damage the udon structure that we have developed so far. So we want to gradually thin it. So the with this indicator wheel, and right now it's pointing at 2 millimeter. So the roller gap right now is like 2 millimeter, and basically like we reduce the thickness by 30% at each round of sheeting to make sure that gluten structure inside dough is not going to be damaged. So this is the 30% rule of thinning reduction rule. So every round of sheeting, like we reduce the thickness by 30%. And you may be noticing that like we are going faster than before. So after combining process, like we can go faster, and it's rolling the sheeting process. So with this, the volume, the knob, the touch of the knob, like she's increasing the speed of the roller. We can go faster and faster. So the dough is being thinned for roller at 1.5 millimeter right now. Okay, so it's gone through like 1.5 millimeter, right? Roller gap, and let's see like what the actual thickness is. That's 1.9 ish, almost like 2 millimeter. And so there's a difference between the actual thickness and the roller gap, like about like 0.5 millimeter. So the actual thickness is always bigger because after it's gone through the dough, going through the roller gap, you always, well, bounces back. So you have to check the difference to see, what the roller gap you need to set at to get the final thickness that you want. And this is the kind of cutter that we use, like we call it slider cutter. And so each groove of this cutter is a number 16 cutter, which is a 2.0 millimeter in width. So each groove that you saw is 2 millimeter in width. And the thickness is both like controlled by the roller gap, right? So, so you control the thickness by roller gap, and you cut the noodle dough with this slider cutter, right? And the width is all determined by the cutter size, right? Cutter size. So the final um, thinning, right? So this machine is gonna thin the dough first, and then the dough goes into the cutter, right? And then we um, will slit, right, to be out as a noodle runs. So the noodles are coming out, and so as I kind of talked about, the noodles, because the mazemen, like you're eating noodles, right? So the serving size is relatively big, and you can change the serving size by changing the length of the noodles, which can be like easily done by just touching the volume, like noodle length volume. You can make it shorter for small size, longer for bigger size, right? So that was pretty long, and you make it shorter for smaller size. It's very easy to do it. So for kids, right? For kids like who don't eat that much, we could have like smaller serving size. And for the dad, if we eat a lot, then we could have like a bigger serving size. So it's very easy to change the serving size or change the length of the noodle. So that's how this machine like cuts and portions noodles. That's pretty easy, right? That's very easy and simple operation. And so she made some sample noodles in advance, like just to for you guys to like see like what kind of other types of noodle like you could make for mazemen noodles. And so these are just like kind of regular types, but like we have, for example, that's the gluten-free option for mazemen noodles, gluten-free. Gluten-free noodles, these are made out of rice powder and some starch. And yeah, and then this is the kind of chili powder, like kneaded noodles. Like it's very, yeah, I will like I can smell it from this distance. The chili. Um, yeah, it's not that spicy, but like when you eat them, like you can have like this kind of yes flavor of chili as well. And we have here over here like kind of this is Spanish noodles. So in our case, like we use the like kind of powder form spinach, but like what you can do is like you can use like kind of fresh spinach, like you can put the fresh spinach in blender and then make juice out of them, and then um, put them in the kneading process. I mean mixing process. And it's a kind of regular type of mazemen noodles that yeah we have as you can have as an option. All right. So that's so that was the noodle making part, and so we're gonna move to our kitchen, right? And they were, our school instructor is waiting for us um, to share with us like some kind of mazemen customization setup, right? And but before we go, right, I just want to show you guys that like so for those of you like who haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please you know maybe like do that today. And like we're gonna be doing this kind of class every week, and we're gonna be like kind of putting out like a lot of videos that are like really valuable for you guys. Like that are very useful for your businesses. So please subscribe to our channel, YouTube channel, like that's for like Yamato Noodle. And it will like please also like check our website, and we're gonna be like having like all this information about online classes and like some new events that we're going to be doing. So please check our website out. So let's move to our kitchen. And so this is kind of like our showroom, like where we have like different types of noodle machines. And we do um, like this week, like we've been doing like these tests, making different types of noodles, especially like we're making 100% buckwheat soba noodles this week. Right, so this is our kitchen, right? And um, so normally when we have school, like ramen school, that this is where we do the kind of like cooking session, like a kind of culinary session. So we like make all these soups, toppings, sauces that we talked about, right? I mean, definitely like make mazemen sauces, right? And then, we teach like how to construct like mazemen sauce like from scratch, right? And over here we have this is like induction cookers for production like stocks, right, soups, broth, and it's the big ones. And it's like, these allow us to like cook certain types of the stocks, like broth, like, kind of rich, heavy, like kind of tonkatsu, like pork bone broth. And so we make like tens and 20 different types, like a base stock, right? For every class from scratch. And tare, like basic base sausage, like from soy sauce, salt, miso paste, and of course like flavored oils we talked about, right? Um, so from scratch, everything from scratch, and you can play around with them, and then like you can finally reach to the final well recipes, and you're gonna have like other people, like other students, like who may have like different ideas, right? May have like maybe coming from a different background. Sometimes we have like kind of professional chefs, who have been running ramen shop like for 20 years, but they want to polish their skills, like knowledges, like techniques, right? And so they come to our school. So that's very it's very kind of very good place, to learn and develop your ramen dishes, like in udon dishes, like kind of Japanese noodle cuisine dishes from scratch. So, and then we've been kind of preparing the something we call like e-learning courses, online courses, right? Because of COVID-19, it's been hard like for us to well conduct classes, right? I mean, real classes, but like we are hoping this online courses like to be like kind of replace some of the curriculum that we do in the real courses, and we are hoping to be able to like launch this e-learning thing like in a few months to come. So for those of you who are interested in, please stay tuned and well, let us know like if you're interested, like from a contact form, and so we can keep you guys updated, right? So we have over here Mr. Takeuchi. You guys can call him Thomas, and so we're lucky to have him because like he speaks perfect English. So, and we are lucky to have him teaching us and the mazemen customization business and setup. And I'm going to pass it to Thomas. Thank you.
Thank you, Akito, and thank you everyone for watching. Once again, my name is Thomas. I'm one of the instructors at the Yamato Noodle School. Okay, and today's topic is a little bit different from the past events. We're showing you, where past events we usually showed you guys how to make specific type of noodle dishes, but today we'll be showing you a type of business model that we recommend. It's a type of business model that allows the customer to customize their mazemen, soupless ramen, just like Subway or Chipotle. Okay? So the reason why we recommend this is because the first one, it allows the customer to customize their soupless ramen. The customer gets to choose the type of noodles they prefer, sauce, flavor, and also toppings. Okay, and by allowing the customers to customize the ingredients, it will adjust the business to variety of diet. So many people have limitations or to their diet uh, because of the religious reason or allergies or health reasons, right? By allowing the customers to customize, pick and choose the ingredients, toppings, sauce, noodles, it can adjust to variety of diet. Okay, and number three, it's great for takeout. Usually, ramen with soup, it's not very good for takeout because the soup it will make the noodles soggy, and also the soup may spill as well. So it's not a very good takeout menu. But on the other hand, the soupless ramen, mazemen, because it doesn't have the soup, it doesn't make the noodles soggy, and you don't have to worry about the soup spilling your soup as well. Okay, so it's great for takeout. And number four, no need to make the ramen stock. So you don't need to prepare the ramen stock. The most labor intensive job at a ramen shop is usually the stock making process. It can take up to 6 to 8 hours of constant mixing. That's a lot of work. And also straining is a lot of work as well. And even after you made the stock, you need a fridge space to keep all the stock as well. So the stock is a big part of ramen shop. So if you don't need to make that stock, it makes the business a lot more efficient. So that's another great reason about this business. Okay, and here's the order form that I made. So this is just an example of the type of noodle sauce and toppings. I have 5 different types of noodles I can choose. The customer gets to choose from, and the sauce. I just have 3. This is just a part of it. Okay, you can have anything. Okay, for toppings as well, I have all sorts of protein, veggies, fruits that a customer can choose from. Okay, and I made an example setup for that business over here. Okay. So first of all, I have 5 different types of noodles right here. Once again, this is just part of the variety that you can make. So these 2 are the regular ramen noodles made with wheat flour. But this one's flat shaped, and this one's a regular square shaped ramen noodles. And this one is ramen noodles with some chili powder in it. So it's gonna give some a little bit of extra spiciness to that noodles. And also this one is spinach noodles. So it gives that vitamin and minerals into the noodles and also some fiber. So it's a little bit more healthier than regular noodles. And this one is rice noodles. This is for the gluten-free option. Okay, so this allows the customer to pick and choose from these different types of noodles. And for the sauce, I have 3 different types of sauce today. The original soy sauce flavor mazemen sauce. And this one is a spicy tantan with the sesame paste and the chili oil. And this one is a very simple shio mazemen sauce. Okay. So to make these sauces, there's like over 10 different types of ingredients and um, seasonings to make these. And these are taught, the recipe is taught at a ramen school. So if you're interested, please consider a ramen school. And when you're making these sauce for this type of customizable mazemen business, it's important to make these in vegan option. So I made all of these in vegan option so that everyone will have the option to choose from, rather than just having one of them vegan. So the vegan person can only choose from one of them. So that's not very good. So just have all the sauce in vegan option, and whether if you're a meat eater, you can just choose it with the toppings. And for the toppings, I have 4 different types of protein today. Chicken, minced chicken. This is a very common type of ingredient topping for mazemen. Grilled steak. And here's some seafood option. This is garlic prawn. And this is a vegan option. This is karaage style tofu. So I seasoned the tofu in karaage sauce and coated it with cornstarch and deep fried it. So even if you're not vegan, this is a great menu. It tastes great. It's high in protein as well because it's made with soy. And for the vegetable toppings, I have leek, red onion, mixed baby leaves, diced tomato, diced avocados, pineapples, cilantro, seaweed, and crunchy garlic bits, and also mixed nuts. Okay, so once again, this is just part of the toppings you can use. You can just adjust it to the market you're at. There's just possibility is limitless. You can choose anything. Okay, so now that the setup is explained, I'm going to have Akira as a customer to show you the operational, like the sequence of this business. So Akira on this side, he's here as a customer, and he's looking at the menu, and he will choose the type of noodles, sauce, and toppings he wants. First, I want him to choose the noodles. Which type of noodles you want?
do a chili noodle with spicy tantan,
Okay.
and for toppings, let's do the protein like I can have like prawn and
Okay. He's want some prawns,
tomato
tomatoes.
and um, okay, so the beef nuts
Mixed nuts
and
gives that extra crunch.
cilantro.
Cilantro,
Extra cilantro.
extra cilantro. Nice. Okay. So yeah, he chose that four different types of toppings, sauce, and noodles. Okay. So first thing I need to do is boil the noodles. So I'll take the spicy chili noodles. I'll boil these for 2 minutes. Okay. And just make sure the boiling machine is rapidly boiling. So as you can see, the noodles like moving around freely in the basket. Okay. So we're going to have the noodles boil. And next, he chose the spicy tantan. So I'm going to put a scoop of this spicy, couple scoops of this spicy tantan sauce. And he chose the toppings. Let's just go over it again. He chose protein, prawn, and tomatoes, and avocados. Oh, mixed nuts, and cilantro, and extra cilantro. Okay, so that's his order. So as you can see, everyone can just adjust it into their own preference. And for the noodles, for mazemen, the key point is to wash the noodles after you boil. Because the noodles will have starch around the noodles. That's going to cause the noodles to stick back together after you take it out and put it into the bowl. And it's going to make the noodles soggy as well. So after the noodles done, you want to wash it in cold water to remove all the starch around the noodles. And if you're serving it for takeout, you just want to use the noodles cold because having the noodles on high temperature, it's going to make the noodles soggy faster. So if you're for takeout, you just wash and chill and just serve it chilled. For eat-in mazemen, what you want to do is wash and chill, remove the starch, and warm it up again. Okay. Okay. 10 more seconds. Okay, it's ready. So I'm going to wash the noodles. It's nice and red. You want to wash the noodles. Just remove all the starch. Okay. And I'm going to make this in the eat-in version, so I'm just going to warm it up. 10 seconds should be good enough. Okay, so the noodles are nice, it's warmed up. So now you just want to strain out the boiling water. And put the noodles into the sauce. It's important to season the noodles first. Rather than just like pouring the sauce over the noodles, you just want to completely season the noodles. Just put a little bit of the sauce, tantan sauce, okay? Just like this. And let's put the seasoned noodle into the container. Okay, and now for the toppings, he shows some tomatoes, diced tomatoes. And nuts. And also extra cilantro. Like this. And lastly, the protein. Usually you should put put the protein last so that it will be at the top, just like this. Okay. So this is Akira's custom mazemen. Okay. So here's our order.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, Megumi is here as a customer as well. So which type of noodles and sauce and toppings?
Can I gluten-free noodle with
Oh.
original sauce?
She wants that gluten-free noodles with the original sauce. Okay. Toppings.
Tofu karaage,
Oh, she wants a tofu karaage, tomatoes, avocados, mixed nuts. Okay, that's also a great pairing. Okay, so she ordered the gluten-free noodles. So let's boil these. These should be good in a minute. Okay, let's boil these for a minute. Okay, so while we wait for the noodles to boil, let's prepare the sauce. So she ordered the original sauce, soy sauce, flavored original sauce. Okay. And let's go over the order again. She ordered the chicken karaage. No, sorry, not chicken karaage. Tofu karaage, tomatoes, avocados, and crushed nuts. Okay. Noodles should be ready soon. Ten more seconds. And once again, for gluten-free noodles, you also want to wash the noodles as well. Let's wash the noodles. And warm it up. Okay. And strain out the boiling water. And the noodle into the sauce. And season the noodles. And put the noodle, seasoned noodle into the container. Okay, and she wanted some diced tomato. Avocados, tomatoes and avocados, perfect match. And crushed mixed nuts. And for the protein, tofu karaage. Okay, so here's your order. Okay, so as you can see, they both got their own custom mazemen. I'm pretty sure that's a vegan. Megumi ordered a vegan option of mazemen. And Akira got it with the prawns. So this allows everyone to enjoy the mazemen at once in a single shop. Okay, so it's a great business model and makes everyone happy. So let's just recap on the business. So in general, this customizable mazemen business, it's great for this. Uh, Great because it allows the customers to customize their soupless ramen, customize noodles, sauce, toppings, and allowing the customer to customize it. It's just a business to variety of diet, and which is very in high demand in the market right now. And also number three, great for takeout. That's also high in demand in the market. And number four, it's a very efficient business because you don't have to make the stock. So it cuts down on the labor costs, and that's also high in demand. A business that you don't need to, um, that is very efficient. So in general, it's a very good business, but one big problem is that it's difficult to find all these different types of noodles. Okay, for this type of business, you'll need many different types, a variety of noodles. And even if you can find it, it's most likely it's very expensive or it's low in quality. So the key to this business is the Richmond noodle machine. The Richmond noodle machine allows the business owner to make variety of noodles. This is just a part of the example of the variety. You can also make pasta, you can make udon, you can make soba, and all sorts of ramen noodles. And you can mix in all sorts of powder ingredients into the noodles to make colorful noodles and also gluten-free noodles as well. So the Richmond machine is pretty much the key to this business. So yeah, that's about it. Uh, and there's no question, so that's about it from my side. So I'm going to pass it back to Akira.
Okay, thank you, Thomas. That was a good presentation. And well, it's like having like these small containers, like containing like all these different toppings, like different ingredients. Just look at it. Just look at it, and like it was, just like looking at it, it's like very colorful, and there's just big variety, and then that's catered to like people with the different diets, and people with, like different preferences and like different demographics as well. I mean like different like probably like family size and different needs. So this is a great way to serve your customers, and having more options like allows you to like kind of solve like people with like more different needs, right? So this way, having more options like kind of tells your customers like that you understand them, right? You understand the needs, you understand their preferences, you understand their diet restrictions, like special needs, right? And the dietary options. So I hope you enjoy it, and that's it. So thank you so much for joining us today, and I hope to see you guys back in next class. So thank you very much. Bye bye.